Hi there everyone, my name is Lucia, and in this video I'm going to show you the progress I made on my doll cosplay from Bloodborne. She was a cosplay that cost me a lot of effort and I decided to film it so I can show you the whole process that goes into it. This isn't really going to be like a tutorial or anything, more just like a walkthrough of all the steps I went through to get to the finished result. And the first thing I'm going to start on today is the skirt. I went to the fabric store to get myself some fabrics. These are the ones I chose. And I chose some very pretty lace to go on the bottom of the underskirt. Here I'm cutting the fabric for the underskirt in two. And I did the same for the fabric I would use for the top skirt. I stitched the two together to make one big rectangle for the underskirt. Then I sewed on the lace to the bottom of the rectangle. I came a bit of lace too short, so I went to the fabric store to get some more. Then I pinned the top skirt rectangles together to make another big rectangle. I wanted it to be a bit shorter than the underskirt, so I ended up cutting away about 10 centimeters of the top skirt fabric. I ironed open the pleats to give it a bit of a more neater look on the outside. Then I went ahead and gathered the fabric so it would look a bit more, well, gathered. And it took a while because this fabric is a bit more sturdy than the one I used for the underskirt. I stitched the gathers in place so they wouldn't move. Then I checked to see if it would fit with the underskirt, but it turned out it was still a little too long and fell over the lace part of the underskirt. So I ended up cutting off a bit more of the top skirt. Then I cut myself some interfacing to make for a sturdy waistband. Then I went ahead and sewed in a zipper. This is always the part that stresses me out the most because this is where I mess up usually. At this point I could try on the skirt. I liked how it looked, all I needed to do was to finish off the edges of the top skirt. I also had to iron open the pleats on the side of the zipper. Then I went ahead and finished off the edges with bias tape. I did make some mistakes during the whole process, like during the gathering, the first version of the underskirt, so I had to make a new underskirt. But in the end, it turned out really pretty, I think at least, so I'm really happy with it. Secondly, I started working on the gloves. At first I made a pattern to fit my hands, but made a mock-up, but it didn't really work out. But with my second mock-up, everything turned out a bit better. It fit me better, and I think it was time I started on a real one. I picked out some really pretty fabrics for it. They also fit me really well. I sewed some lace on the edges and that really finished it off. At first I made one that didn't fit very well, so I ended up making a new one. This one did fit really well. The wig also arrived during this time. Here's what it looks like on my head, and I also made a matching face mask. And that's all there was to the gloves. Then I started working on the hat. I started by making a base out of foam. After that I traced it onto the paper and made a pattern. Then I cut the same shape out of fabric. I sewed those together. Then it was time to put the foam through the tube of fabric. This took really, really long. Like really long. But in the end, I did finish it. Then I top stitched it so it wouldn't move. Then I started working on the inside of the hat. I made some sort of bucket-like shape. I tried it out with a black fabric first. I had to sew a rectangle to a circle, so that took a while. But it did work out in the end, and I tried it out on the mannequin hat. It looked like I wanted it to look. Then I stitched the black fabric to the headband that I made from foam and fabric. I made another bucket-like shape out of the red fabric that would cover the black. I then had to stitch on a circle of foam by hand, so it would be sturdy in the back as well. Then I had to stitch the red fabric on top of the black one. And that ended up looking really nice. Then I had to attach the fabric I cut for the cap part to the foam. This was a struggle to figure out, but in the end I did make it work. And this is what it looked like after being covered in red fabric. You can't even see the headband anymore because it's covered by the fabric. I think the shape turned out really nice, and I'm really happy with it. Then I saw in the art of the hat that she also had a string going around her neck, so I decided to sew that on as well. I had some ribbon lying around that I used for this. This also helps to keep it secure on my head. Then I started working on the ribbon that goes on the head for decoration. I glued that down with fabric glue and waited several hours for it to dry. After that, it was time to do some weathering. I used eyeshadow for this. Weathering is a technique used to make things look old or used. I set it in place using some hairspray. And I ordered some new supplies to finish off the edge and for some other projects. To finish off the edge, I also used bias tape just like on the skirt. It didn't look very neat on the inside, but I fixed it later. It made for a very clean looking edge. Then I hand stitched a small yellow thread next to the edge, because she has that as decoration. It took a really long time and I considered giving up a few times, but I saw it through to the end and it was worth it because it really added something. I really love how it turned out. I also ordered some roses online, but they took a half a year to arrive. But when I finally did, it was time to glue them onto the hat. I cut off the green part and glued on the roses with hot glue. And then the hat was finally finished, after about a week of work. I bought some boots secondhand to use for the cosplay. I also sewed on some lace to the cuffs of my blouse, so it would match hers better. I also bought a second-hand scarf that I cut to the right size. And added a small necklace. Then it was time to start on the cape. I started by making a mock-up and adding a lot of fabric to it until I got the desired shape. I traced it onto some paper to make a pattern. And here's the finished pattern. I put the pattern on the right fabric and cut it out. Then I stitched everything together. And this is how it looked when I first tried it on. I then added some gold lace I ordered online. This took a long time and was really boring, but it made the cape look really fabulous. With hot glue I added the cord that I bought in a zigzag shape. I couldn't find any lace that looked close enough to the one she has on her cape, so I just used this method instead. I also sewed in a button that I found in my button stash and cut the buttonhole open, so I could finally close it. And this is the finished cape. I really like how it turned out. Then I started on the corset. This is a pattern I bought online and used before for my Dream Cosplay, so I knew exactly what to do. I started by sewing together the lining. And And then I cut and sewed the right fabric too. I sewed them together, but left some room for the boning. And here I'm just putting the boning in to give it some structure and to keep it upright while it's on my body. I also made the ruffle to go on the bottom. Just for demonstration purposes, I added in a string in the back. This always takes a long time and I have to redo it every time I wear the corset. And this is what it looks like all done. Then I started working on the jacket, also known as Bolero. This is a pattern I bought online and it was an American pattern, so it was difficult to figure out the sizing. I started by making a mock-up out of fabric I had left over from the corset. It was a little big, so I made a smaller one from the right fabric. This one already fit me much better. Then I sewed a mock-up to the right fabric to use as lining. This also gave it some weight since the fabric for the corset was really heavy. Then it was time to make some gathered puffed sleeves. This would help keep the cape on my shoulders. And to the puffy sleeve, I attached a longer sleeve to go over the rest of my arm. And this is what it looked like all sewn together. Just some decoration left. I then cut out a piece to use for the white collar. I also cut out some interfacing so it would be a bit more sturdy, and added some cuffs to the sleeves. By hand I had to sew on some closures. I went for a few that looked really nice and I love how it turned out. It really adds to the overall feeling, even if you don't see it when it's covered by the cape. Then I added some gold leaves to use as decoration. This also took a long time to sew on, but it was definitely worth it. And that's the Bolero all finished. And last but not least, I did some weathering on the entire costume. For this I also used eyeshadow and some fabric paint. It really helped to make it look like it came straight out of Bloodborne, because Bloodborne isn't the cleanest universe. And then the costume was finally done for a shoot.
Good morning. It's just past 6:30 AM and it's a Sunday and I'm already awake because I need to get ready. I need to get in cosplay, do my makeup and travel to the shoot location because I'm finally shooting this cosplay today. I'm very excited, but also very tired. But let's get started.
Because my entire hands were covered, I had to use a stylus to use my phone. I had to cut the wig cap and glue it down. And I also had to glue down the wig. It was a struggle to figure this out, and it was a struggle to get it off later too. I started with setting spray, then did my foundation, and then decided I wouldn't film anymore while getting ready, because it just took me too much time. And this is the finished look. This is about 2 hours later, around 8:30 AM. And this is my friend Sky, who took my pictures this day. Now, let's see the costume all together. That was all for this video. Definitely a lot of work went into this, and I'm really glad I finally finished all of this after more than a year. And it was definitely a dream cosplay, so I'm so glad I got to make this a reality and show you guys the entire process of what went into it. And I hope you enjoyed watching. And I hope I see you guys in the next video, because I'm planning to film my upcoming dream cosplay, which is going to be Lumine from Genshin Impact. And I'm so excited to work on her, and I hope you all are just as excited as me to watch her become a reality. So, see you next time!